Hello, everyone. It's Elliott Brood, Casey, Mark, and Steve here, and we're taking you behind the curtain of another song. One of our most popular songs, if you've seen us play live, it's usually at the end of a set. Write It All Down For You, otherwise known as WIADFY. Yeah,
should we deal with that first? Actually,
yeah, sure. You deal with that.
Hey.
That's true.
And it's like the only reason it's called WIADFY is it's such a long title, which I should have just written it down as "Write It All Down For You." But when I was designing the artwork, I'm like, oh, it'll be fine, and I have gotten no amount of grief. Like it's like endless amount of grief for WIADFY.
So it looks good. It looks good on the artwork. And I mean, the genesis of the song came with purchasing a ukulele, obviously, which I will say at the time, no one was rocking ukuleles. No one, not even the Lumineers were around doing that stuff. So yeah, tell us a little bit about the beginning and origins of it.
The origins of it, I wrote it. Well, I was losing a job. So back in the day when we were first touring, the company was going to fold. And so I was kind of saddened by that. And so on my walk home late in December, kind of found myself at Capsule Music as I would walk home. Usually it's like halfway point on the way to my house. And Eric Arnson talked me into buying a ukulele. And I was just
he's smooth salesman.
He's like, you got to get a ukulele. And I started playing it and I started writing a tune, which turned out to be Write It All Down For You.
Well, don't forget you painted it black though first. Didn't you paint it black first? Remember that was the first one that you.
I did. Yeah, I painted it black.
Then the song came out when got it.
So I started writing it in my loft on Florence Street in Toronto, and
Toronto. I like that.
What in Toronto?
You said you said Toronto, which is like the what is it? What's that band? In Toronto, whatever that band is. Switching to Glide.
The Kings.
Yeah.
The Kings.
Continue, please. We can't waste time with that.
Okay.
Anyways.
Hey, we're just hanging out.
Acronym.
We don't care if this is 10 minutes.
I hadn't come up with any lyrics yet. And I think I was going to meet UK. I can't remember the name of the band that we were going to go see at the Horseshoe. But I was waiting for the streetcar, and I was kind of tapping my toe to like kind of the rhythm. Streetcar shows up, hop on, and I started writing the first bit of lyrics. I'll write it all down for you. Bitter tea, bitter teeth, bitter you. And I was just like, it just started flowing. And good thing I had my BlackBerry at that time, and I started like typing out the lyrics so I wouldn't forget them by the time I got to the show. And I didn't have it all finished. Obviously, we worked on it for quite some time to kind of like write it. We played it live in Lethbridge, Alberta, which kind of, I think that gave rise to the pots and pans thing that we kind of did.
Well, yeah, it's definitely that song was the reason for those in the first place. If you've seen us over the years with the Pans and Spoons finale, Write It All Down For You was the original reason for that. I think it's like that hey, hey, hey part came because we were playing it live before it was finished. And it was just a part we would just it was working. It was great. It was super fun to do it.
Well, that's the thing
and it was recorded in a bunch of places too, right? Yeah, and I mean, we've done that with many songs, obviously. But this particular song, the recording aspect of it, and forgive me because 2007 through 10, a little hazy from my personal recollection of all those recordings. I know they all happened, but this one was recorded in a bunch of places, right? Like this one, I remember little bits of it, but it started in one place and we moved around collecting different sort of parts, right? Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I remember going to the Healy Lake Lodge up north. This is when we were trying to record not Ambassador, but Mountain Meadows, right? We were starting the demos and we went up to that lodge in the middle of winter. We got a good deal and we set up everything. And that's where all the drums, I think those drums made it all the way through to the end of we ended up
that was
totally.
Right? Because we
roughed it out.
We worked with Paulo Coyne at Hala, right? There was a bunch of different, and then Mark and I were doing some percussive stuff, even randomly at his place, I think.
Well, we did. We bought pots and pans to record out in Wayne, Alberta.
Yes.
And then funny enough, like we didn't do enough pots and pans in Wayne, that I called Casey and I was like, hey, we got to do more pots and pans. Come over to my house. And so we recorded in my garage with a mini 4-track. And we're like,
well, even in Wayne. So Wayne, Alberta being this amazing place that we had played their festival, and we went back and rented a place for like the week. We did a bunch of work there, but we were slamming on chairs, floors, the kitchen stuff. It's hard to really tell what's all in there at the end, but that time there of like anything layering in the smacks and stuff. Yeah, and then it ended up getting mixed eventually at Green Door, I think. We finished
That's
it
right.
off there, right? So,
Yep. And I think we
Yeah.
did some overdubs in a truck that we rented and for
Probably.
reverb outside just to get
We did.
more reverb.
The one thing that I will say is when we were at Hala, when we were recording the vocals, the lead vocals, Paul put the microphone on this massive stand that was about 10 feet up in the air, gave me the headphones, and cranked up the gain and was like, okay, yell up at the microphone. And that was it. That was the vocal take. You like didn't have to try too hard. And we did the hey there. But I remember doing that. That was like one of the good moments that I remember, you know.
Big room there, right? Big ceiling. That's known as more of it. That was always like a big drum room in Toronto that people used a lot. But yeah, it's cool that it got all over the place. That song traveled. It's a ukulele song.
Yeah, the one thing that I just thought of was I think you were still living on College, Kay, and you were showing me. You're like, "Oh, I have this song with a ukulele, and it's called."
Well, it was written on the same ukulele. You had left it at my house, or I was at your whatever. I was going to mention that. It's like that Valleytown also was just written because it was. I had never even played a ukulele. I was like, "What's this stupid thing?"
Yeah,
and whatever. And then that happened too. So that ukulele did birth a couple.
Big songs. It also the Valleytown also birthed the ding 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 because it was like you had already showed me the Valleytown. I was like, oh, that's great. And then it was just kind of like blending two songs together, and it was kind of like a moment that I kind of needed that we hadn't discovered yet for the song, right? So.
Yeah, it is funny if you look at like this of all the songs that we have, our two most popular songs are ukulele like led songs in Spotify or any of those whatever
the amount
things,
of requests, right? Like, you know, this is on what is it, Far Cry 5, this one?
That's video right.
game.
Yeah.
It's a lot of snowboarder videos, but it's the most requested song by far in terms of people wanting to do action videos. They like to.
It's a great editor's dream. Hey.
Right. Editor's dream.
The one thing is like I always aspired to be a skateboarder or a snowboarder, but never did it. And it's funny that music or that song is like all these people that snowboard and skateboard are like, yeah, this is the music. Is like, I guess I somehow, you know, kind of channeled that through my brain somehow.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been one of those. It's generally, it's always near the end of our set. It's always sort of the culmination of our set. It's always back there somewhere, if not the last song that just sort of. And for the many years when we were traveling, carrying those pans and spoons, it's something people were sort of always. People still bring their own stuff sometimes to shows and waiting for that song. So yeah, it's funny that one came out of it. It was pieced together. It was played live, like many of our songs, like in advance of recording it. You know, so that was one of those ones we got to work out, and probably in Lethbridge and those places where we take a lot of those chances is where it really developed into what it ended up being, right?
Yeah, I just don't think it would be the same song if we hadn't played it live first to understand how it affected the crowd, right? So, I mean, that's the thing about road testing. That's the thing about playing your songs and kind of having them morph and recording them in 5 or 6 different places. And it's just like, but it feels cohesive as a song, but it has to take all of those pieces to put it together and you know. But you never expect it to. You never expect it to kind of turn out the way it did and have the impact that it does, because it's like, who's going to like this song? But they did. So
that was great. I mean, it's like I remember just even wondering what should I do, and I was like, I'm just going to strum very loudly behind this whole thing and just try to make it as wide, which is my go-to if I'm going to add a part to one of your songs. Generally, something like that, at least in those years of recording for sure. But it's funny. It's like our maybe most popular song. No one knows what it is. WIADFY. What the hell is that?
Hey.
No one knows what it's actually called, which is play that song with the letters. You have that, you know, the one with the letters?
My bad.
Sounded like it. You know, the 21 Pilots song. You can cut this out if you want, but the 21 Pilots song sounds a lot like it. On it became popular on TikTok.
Well, maybe
things you don't hear on TV or something like that.
Yeah. We were 10 years ahead of them. We knew how to not
yeah instead of hey.
Well,
but
that's
it's
where
ukulele. It's the same kind of rhythm. It's like, oh, wait a minute. I think I've heard that before.
We knew how to not get popular off something like that long before they knew how to get popular off that. It's fine.
They win.
Yeah. No, it's great. So, I mean, that's another look at one of our more popular songs. One of the ones we always look forward to in a set to playing and seeing the reaction. That's always one of the audience gets involved with, which I always love. Yeah, I don't know what the next one is, but I'm glad you wanted to listen to this one.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you for the next one.